Welcome back to Wrestling World. Today we'll be taking a look at how Sting was just announced for a WWE project, how Nicki Minaj created a theme for a superstar, and more. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications turned on and leave a like below. Let's start things off with the Sting news. Sting was a part of the WWE for the past few years, but that is no longer the case. He is now with AEW. He signed a multi-year deal with them, so how does he still have anything to do with WWE? Well, the announcement came from the official WWE Games account on Twitter. They took to Twitter to announce that Sting was coming to WWE Battlegrounds. Really bad timing for them to announce it, but it probably took them this long to finalize everything for the in-game character. They made the announcement by posting a graphic that showed all the superstars and legends. Featured on the list of superstars is Sting, but if you take a look at the graphic, he was purposely placed at the bottom of the list, and his character model isn't shown on the graphic either. That wasn't a coincidence. That was likely done on purpose because of how awkward it is to announce Sting in a WWE project right now. They placed his name at the very bottom of the list, literally the last name on the list, and didn't even show his character. When you're trying to sell something to the fans, you usually show them what you're buying, so for them to hide Sting's model is pretty weird. Obviously, we know why. Sting is on AEW now, so they had to throw him in at the bottom of the list. Had Sting not signed with AEW, then he's probably at the top of this graphic promotion, with his character being front and center, but obviously that's not the case here. This has obviously been in production for a long time before he signed with AEW, so that's why it was approved beforehand and will be coming to the game. What are your thoughts on Sting making a return to a WWE product in this fashion? Nicki Minaj creates a theme song for WWE Superstar. Getting a mainstream artist on your WWE theme song is pretty hard to do, but we've seen a few superstars manage to do it. Sasha Banks has Snoop Dogg, CM Punk has Cult of Personality, and Big E's new theme song even features a phenomenal rapper. But could you believe that the all-time great Nicki Minaj was on a WWE theme song and no one even noticed? Apparently, this happened and no one knew about it until several years later. Victoria's WWE theme song, Don't Miss With, has Nicki Minaj's vocals all over the track from start to finish. Obviously, no one recognized the voice at the time because this was underground Nicki Minaj. She wasn't yet discovered and was just coming up in the music scene. At the state of her career that she was in at the time, it seems like she was just getting music out everywhere she could, and somehow WWE ended up with this Nicki Minaj song and gave it to Victoria. Obviously, if you want Nicki Minaj's vocals on your WWE theme nowadays, it's going to cost you a lot more than it did back then. But it's still interesting to know that her music was being played on WWE television before the rest of the world really discovered her. Victoria had this to say about the situation when speaking with Chris Van Vliet. The next theme song was from Nicki Minaj, but she wasn't Nicki Minaj at the time. She had a different name. They asked what kind of music I was into, and I said hip-hop. That's when they chose that song. I ain't a lady to mess with, and they chose that as my entrance. Years later on Twitter, I found out that it was Nicki Minaj that did my entrance music. I thought it was just a New Yorker. I didn't know that side of it. We didn't get to meet the artists. So just a really interesting fact that Nicki Minaj has actually recorded a WWE theme song, and it went unnoticed for a while. Lacey Evans responded to a stalker WWE fan. Fans crossing the line with WWE superstars is unfortunately something we see way too often. We most recently saw situations get out of hand with Sonya Deville and Paige. Sonya is still in court to this day over her case, and Paige's stalker showed up to their door and said the signs led him there. Both very scary situations. Well now, Lacey Evans isn't taking any chances when it comes to things like this. Lacey recently received fan mail from a WWE fan, but the one problem is that the fan sent the fan mail directly to her home address. This is extremely wrong and beyond creepy. It doesn't matter what's inside the fan mail, the fact that you have her address and sent it to her front door is pretty alarming and would make anyone feel uncomfortable. Lacey addressed the situation on Twitter by releasing this statement. PSA, I do not respond to fan mail sent to my home. The only thing that happens is heightened security measures and a sharper mindset for how I will respond to protect my family if need be. Fan mail can be sent to the WWE Performance Center. So an absolutely perfect statement by Lacey Evans that gets straight to the point. You can write fan mail to any superstar you want. You just have to send it to the WWE Performance Center and it will be handed over to the specific superstar. There's no need to be sending any mail to their front door, so hopefully the rest of the situation turned out smooth for Lacey Evans. Alexa Bliss responds to her WWE absence. So Alexa's absence from WWE has been something we've been talking about over the last few weeks. Everyone has been trying to figure out what's going on, but now we have an answer from Alexa herself. She responded to one fan and said that she booked this time off several months ago. So that perfectly explains everything. We discussed how if it was personal time off, then it's understandable. Alexa Bliss has wrestled during this entire pandemic era for WWE, so time off was definitely needed. Everyone was just trying to figure out if her absence was a WWE decision, but now we know that it was not. As Alexa mentioned, she put in this time off months ago, so she didn't know that she would be paired up with Bray Wyatt and didn't know how she'll be playing a role in the feud back then when she initially put in the time off. So that's why the timing of her absence felt so weird. However, with Alexa's explanation, we could put some of the blame back on WWE. If they knew well in advance when she was leaving, then they should have came up with a more creative way to write her off of television. Have Randy Orton capture her or something like that so she can be written off and now the Fiend has to go save her. Just anything that would have kept her involved in the story while she was taking her time off would have been great. Keep her involved or mentioned instead of her just mysteriously vanishing. Yeah, Bray did say that she wasn't there because of how Randy was treating her, but that was a weak explanation. No issues with the time off. It's more than understandable that these superstars need some time off, but I just feel like WWE could have done more to keep her involved even during her vacation. Just have to get creative with it, and it would have worked. Such as the canceled Randy Orton Firefly Funhouse segment. WWE advertised that Randy Orton was inviting himself into the Firefly Funhouse, and it sounded like an interesting segment. Of course, in typical WWE fashion, the segment was canceled and changed at the last second. But I feel like that segment had a lot of potential. Maybe Randy Orton was taking a trip to the Funhouse with the sole purpose of trying to get Alexa Bliss, and it would be up to Bray Wyatt to defend Alexa and fight Orton off. Even though Alexa has been missing, the feud has been great from a storyline perspective. Not only that, but the way the theme of fire has been constantly in the story is a great little detail. It started with Orton burning down the house several years ago. Bray and Alexa then made several references to fire. Orton tries to burn Bray Wyatt, and all of that led to a Firefly Inferno match. But what are your thoughts on today's wrestling news? Leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.